What are the pillars that drive you? And then how do we relay that message? Because momentum attracts momentum and confidence breeds more confidence. And the more you're confident and the more authentic you are as an advisor, the more confident your client is going to be, more aligned your client is going to be.
Welcome to The Edge for Tomorrow. I'm your host, Rose Reed, and today I'm joined by Rob Hagg. You know, most wealth management firms are going one of two directions, getting swallowed by giant corporate roll-ups or automating everything with apps and algorithms. And Rob is doing something special. He's betting on human relationships, knowing clients well enough to understand how their retirement, taxes, insurance, and investments all fit together as one story, not separate products. The bold part, growing that model when the entire industry says automate, consolidate, or die. So I'm very excited to have Rob here. Rob, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So I want to start with what you're doing right now. As the Chief Growth Officer at Fortis Capital Advisors, you kind of have a big task ahead of you. One is client-facing and the other is internal, like creating this, is it right to say it's like an army or an infrastructure internally, kind of empowering folks with not just a mission-based philosophy, but an attitude that reflects your own when it comes to the client and the customer?
Yeah, very much so. So, with Fortis, we really look at it in two ways, right? My clients, our advisors, our independent advisors all over the country, but also putting them in a spot because their clients are the client. And so how do we build an organization that not only attracts advisors that philosophically or culturally align with our vision, but just as importantly, how do we make them attractive in their markets, be it if they're carrying our shingle as Fortis Capital Advisors, or even, with their own brand powered by Fortis Capital. So it's a double-edged sword that we have to really aggressively approach every single day and make sure that we're following through with the things that we say we're going to do for our advisors, so they can then in turn follow through the things they say that they're going to do for their clients.
Can we just pause, and is there a way that you have a rubric for a layman of what makes a great advisor?
An advisor collaboration call. It started with just a few advisors, and now we have, dozens and dozens of advisors. And we just had our call this morning, as it's every other Thursday. And I think the thing that we work on the most with our advisors is creating what is their authentic self. So many people aren't authentic in what they do, which means it's not their passion. It's identifying what is your authentic self, what are the pillars that drive you, and then how do we relay that message? Because momentum attracts momentum, and confidence breeds more confidence. And the more you're confident and the more authentic you are as an advisor, the more confident your client is going to be, more aligned your client's going to be. So, that's really something that we really focus on. I think first, do what you say you're going to do. Be a good human, because there's a lot of bad humans in this industry and really any industry. But be authentic and start with that, because that's where growth really truly comes.
It's interesting to hear you say that, because authenticity is like the main pillar of what we do. It's like storytelling.
Yep.
And one of the things that I always try to tell folks is you don't need to embody a persona of someone who's articulate or fun or charming. Like double down on who you are. If you're a nerd, if you're quiet, you have long explanations, whoever you are, like sticking to that resonates, because fake is just something that everyone can feel, and it's not trustworthy.
Well, it's funny you say that, because it's true. And, they always say, fake it till you make it, right? I think about when we started Fortis. This is the third RIA that I've either started or been part of starting in the last 24 years. When I talked to our first advisor, the first prospective advisor we have, when we have $0 of assets under management, I can't fake it. I can't say we're $1 billion firm. I can only truly relay the vision and follow through with it. And so, when I say confidence breeds confidence, if I'm talking to a $50 million advisor and we have $0 of assets under management, they're 50 million times bigger than us. So I can't do anything other than say to him or her, this is what we're going to do. These are the things that we're going to breed. These are the things that we're going to support. and then do what we say we're going to do. Now you turn the page and you look in the rear view. Now I can say we're a multi-billion-dollar firm. I can say we have dozens and dozens of advisors. I can say we're in all the markets that we are.
One of the things that you're talking about is really staying honest to the value proposition. Could you explain how Fortis is doing that differently in the value that it's offering?
People want more advice from fewer people. And so if we stand by that,
Reach. Yes, absolutely.
if we stand by that, then we have to support our advisors with that humanity, with that advice, the tax, the insurance, the estate planning, what business transition, whatever it may be, so that they can have a true continuity of filtering that message to the client and provide the more advice from first and a trusted advisor, fewer people. My partners and I, Felix and Roman and I, are extremely transparent. We say it very often. You may not like what we have to say all the time, but it's coming from a good spot. So that can be tough conversation. That can be just about where the organization is, but being extremely transparent where no one feels like they're, having to look over their shoulder, that something's being done behind a curtain. That also helps breed the confidence that in the clarity that we believe needs to be provided for an advisor to feel comfortable in the organization they're at. And if the more comfortable they are, the more prone to be a better advisor to their clients they can be.
And when you think about, how you approach building growth, um, can you talk a little bit about some of your past experiences, your past businesses that inform what you're doing as chief growth officer now? Maybe some trials and tribulations or lessons learned, or even kind of sticking more to that authenticity mission that you've outlined. And I know that you're, very close to your colleagues, you're very close with your co-founders and with your family, and how you bring that in every day. And so I'm just curious how you are intertwining, kind of, let's just call it like a midlife reflection on your leadership role now.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's interesting. I always was told early on, fail fast, fail forward, but learn from your mistakes. And when you have organizations, and I ran money, I had my own practice, and then I had a partnership, and then we sold that, and then we rinse and repeat. The thing that is, what we saw and what I saw was that this is the stalest, probably least evolved industry of all industry in the world. We've gone from ticker tape to computers. Yay for us. That's it. And frankly, it's our own fault because we don't know how to collaborate. And the thing that I looked at is we could just keep doing what we had done, but we needed to do it differently. And I said from the very beginning, and it's great having partners that are visually aligned, I want to disrupt the heck out of this industry. And the only way we're going to do it is if we do it ourselves. And I've gotten our advisors to buy into that. I always say, I tell my kids this, I tell, my colleagues this, I know we're doing the right things when they start to use our language, our energy. If you ask any of my advisors, what's the number one thing that I want to do? They'll say, you want to disrupt the hell out of the industry. We're going to continue to make mistakes, and that's okay as long as you fix them. And I always say, you can't judge an organization by the mistakes they make. You judge an organization about how they react to those mistakes. Because no one's perfect. Who cares if it's just gone from ticker tape to computers? We can be different. And that's what we really tried to do. Proofing concept. Double, we're growing.
Perhaps you could tell me about a hard lesson that you learned in building wealth management and working in this industry. Perhaps you could describe a challenge that you saw and how you decided to approach it.
Partnerships are an interesting thing. You learn a lot about people, and this is something I talk to our advisors a lot about in my one-on-one development. When they're thinking about bringing on a junior advisor, or when they're thinking about partnering with another individual, or however it may be. And the thing that I think is interesting is, I'm a Chicago kid that lives in Kansas City. My partners are on the East Coast, both Russian immigrants from the former USSR, come to America, great patriots, great business people, but we couldn't be more different. And what's been interesting working with Felix and Roman over, the last, several years, 6 years now, and we had worked together in a different capacity prior to that, is I've regained all the trust that I had lost. 100% of the trust. And it started with the humanization that they truly believe the same way I did, that family came first. I'll share with you, I don't think I did when we first spoke, but when I got the phone call during COVID, I mean, it was April of 2020 from Felix and Roman. Say, Rob, I heard you're going out on your own. We've been talking, we've been following guidance for so many years. Like, why don't we do this together? And my wife, who's been a great supporter. I mean, this business is hard. Not she was going to kill me doing it again. But she said to me, she's like, Rob, look, you're smart and I love you, but they got an office in Manhattan. They're in New York. You might be a dime a dozen out there, which is a little hard to take from your wife. But I mean, I've heard worse. And so I shared that with Felix, and he said, "Get her on a call. I want to get on a call with her." So it's funny. It's April. World's locked down. I'm in my office downstairs. My wife's in the dining room. She's on her laptop. We're all on Zoom. There's Felix Roman. We all the pleasant. She's this cute little blonde, really charismatic. Jeff, ask me the question. And she kind of like, what? She's like, he goes, ask the question. Well, why Rob? And he goes, let me tell you why. There's no coaching in this because my wife can see through anything. But at that point, when we got off that, she comes downstairs, hugs me, and she goes, let's flip and do this thing. When you don't think your partners, if you don't think they're on your bingo card and you work with your best friends, you worked with family members, whatever it may be, you got to trust and align yourself with the right people. So probably a long answer to that question, but I wanted to share that.
No, I think that that's really apt. And, you started this business when the world was shut down. And fast forward 5 years, how would you describe where Fortis is today and what you want it to look like in 18 months?
Blessings come in so many different, sizes and packages and whatnot. Our clients, our industry, our people were forced to evolve at a much faster rate, embracing technology, embracing maybe the less humanized aspect of things. In my previous life, if I talked to somebody on a Tuesday that I liked, I'd be like, hey, what are you doing for lunch on Thursday? I'll fly to Florida to come see you. Let's sit. I want to shake your hand and we're going to close this deal face to face. We may acquire a multi-million-dollar firm, hundreds of millions of dollars, spend millions and millions of capital, and not meet them face to face until we're having a closing dinner together. So I think we've had to learn. I still love being in front of someone. I still love jumping on that plane and seeing somebody face to face because nothing will ever make that will be as good as that. But starting during COVID to where we are now, it's allowed us to be great stewards of capital. People know how to deal with clients in a better way. And so would I have guessed that? No, not at all. I mean, now I'm at the point where, 5 years ago, we weren't doing many Zoom calls. Now I'm pissed if somebody's camera's not on, right? I'm like, I don't want a telephone call. I want to see you. But where are we going to be in 18 months? I wouldn't have guessed that we're going to be where we are today 18 months ago. What I'll tell you is I don't know where we'll be in 18 months, but I know we're going to be bigger than we are today. And we're only driving to the one thing that we started this on, was build our organization with the right people, create a culture that you don't hide behind, but you showcase. And that alone, I mean, when you start at zero, and then we finished last year, like 1 and change billion, or become a $2 billion firm when the calendar year changes, and you're bringing $1 billion on this quarter, and you got another 800 million of it dollars coming on in April.
And when you think about your next big milestone that you're looking to do and what you're encouraging your advisors to do, is that expanding geographically? Is that adding services, or is that deepening client relationships?
It's all the above. I mean, we're in markets. I'm in Portland, Oregon, to Miami, Florida, to New York, New Hampshire, Denver, St. Louis, Texas, you name it, right? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to continue to expand our footprint, our foundational footprint in that Boston area, north of Boston down to southern, an hour south in the shore. That's going to be a multi-billion-dollar footprint for us. We're doing the same thing in Texas right now. We're doing the same thing in Florida. So we're going to continue to do that. We constantly are adding services that are relevant to our advisors, filling their quiver with arrows and then teaching them which ones are going to make them hunt the best. We launched today. We made a huge investment in creating more brand continuity across all of our verticals. really refining who Fortis is from a footprint standpoint, new websites. What is that going to do for the client? We showcased today a little bit of the teaser with our chief marketing officer, Rob Simone, um, to the group on, our new website launched yesterday. And then what's phase 2 that's already been developed, and what's phase 3, and how does that impact the advisors? So what I can tell you we're going to continue to do is we're going to continue to add services. We're going to continue to refine our technology stack, this, solid scale for, efficiency to scale. And we're going to continue to invest in the marketing aspect. And the thing that one of the advisors asked to Rob, and it was a very true statement. One that attracts is that, the B2B, the Fortis to getting advisors attracted. And then one that is the B2C, the advisors to the clients. And Rob said, his name's Chris. He goes, Chris, that's a great comment. And you're right. I thought when I was coming into this project, that leadership was going to say, we need to work on the B2B. And it was actually the complete opposite. Our first approach was the B2C, was our advisors to their clients. What does that look like? How do we attract them? We're all donuts floating in the ocean. No one's going to find us unless we bring them to attract us to us. So we're going to continue to do that.
And what would you say is one of the biggest challenges that the industry is facing, let's say this year, the next couple of years?
So our challenge is keeping up with capital, which is fine. We can continue to do it the way we're doing it. We've got great credit facilities and banking partners, and we're really aligned, and people are really aligned with us because we are doing it differently. It started with Felix Roman and I's capital, and then, we grew enough that we could use a little bank capital, and then we get into the capital markets, and but we're not going to sell ourselves short and give up a piece of our organization today, lose control of it just to get more capital. So I always say we may not be offering the highest multiple in an acquisition, but we value every business fair. We don't put covenants that are unachievable, and we economically align the seller and us to grow together for whatever duration that's going to be. So if we're offering a 6x, but somebody that's private equity backed is offering a 9x, sure, that's really pretty looking and it's really exciting and great to talk about on the golf course. But when it's all said and done and the time has turned to zero on the clock, we've got to continue to tell that story. We've got to continue to be authentic. We've got to continue to be transparent. And we've got to continue to make sure that advisors understand their worth and then make sure that they achieve it with us.
I think one of the things that we are talking about is that, when it comes to boutique firms treating wealth management as a relationship, it's not a transaction, and that you're proving that clarity and coordination and long-term partnerships, that's like what you're still betting on.
The way you bring someone to you is the way you're going to lose them. If you bring them on cost, you're going to lose them on cost. You shave 10 bips, someone's going to shave 11, you lose them. If you bring them on just pure service, you're going to lose them to service. But if you out-relationship the hell out of them, no one should be able to take those clients away. I can tell you that Felix Roman myself, I won't lose an advisor based off relationship. No one will out-relationship me. Guaranteed. That's the thing that we got to continue to focus on, is the way you bring them is the way you're going to lose them. And it is not a transaction.
Well, where can folks find you and your advisors?
The one thing I know is that they may not find us. I'm going to find them. That's a group effort. We continue to run campaigns because this may sound cocky. It is kind of cocky, but every advisor needs to talk to me. Every advisor needs to talk to Felix. Every advisor needs to talk to Roman. And I'll put that up against anybody. Because if you don't, you're not going to see actually what else is out there. Now, we may not be a fit for everybody. And they may not be a fit for us. But if they can't find us, we're going to try and find them. Because I want to make an impact on as many advisors as I possibly can. We all want an exit at some point, and I want everybody along for that ride. It's no fun being uber wealthy and selling a huge business if you don't have a bunch of people to celebrate that with.